so I had to leave.
That's fine. It's fine. Okay, so now that we have all the people here, I'm glad I got that little recording out of the way, because I just could not use that, because the audio was just super bad. But we have everybody here now, so let's go. We have a lot of people who either dislike TL or hate TL, right? No, you guys didn't know what I just did there?
Yes, George.
I don't hate TL. I just don't like Double Lift.
I think I like a lot of the components on TL, and then there are certain components I'm not a huge fan of. I mean, I try to let it go. I can have an honest conversation.
Shenryu, how do you feel about that? Just digging right now. Just go for it.
For TL, I don't know. I like TL. I like Double Lift too. I think before this split, he easily was the best ADC, and I'm all for shit talking. So, if Nisqy wants to do it to Jensen in the finals, it's not a problem. But like Double Lift says it, and it's a problem.
Dude, we were talking about that actually.
Well, it's because our region doesn't shit talk. That's what it comes down to.
That's because people. Let's be honest here, guys. That's because people are sensitive. That's just it. Oh my god, he shit talked me. He called me bad at the game. Now it's time to kill myself. Shut up. Oh my.
Caps fucking flamed perks. Now they're teammates. Like,
dude, and not to call out any other C9 members right now, but I remember last spring finals, a certain AD carry was made their own type of toxic type smack talk in warm up.
Also, for Nisqy, let's be fair. He flames his entire team on a weekly basis, apparently.
I'm gonna be completely honest here. People in North America, listen to me right now. Stop being fucking sensitive. Like, what is wrong with you people? Oh my goodness, he called me bad. Oh my god, go to Reddit. This guy doesn't like me. What is wrong with you? I'm curious
then, Ravioli, since you're so negative to Double Lift because you feel he's a smack talker and he was toxic to teammates. What makes Nisqy's okay if he's doing the exact same thing?
All right, so Nisqy's seems a little bit more lighthearted, whereas Double Lift in the past famously said, "I'm the best. Everyone else is trash," and that's fine. But you can't go to Worlds and then get embarrassed every year.
But everybody does that though. Like every single person does it, and also since people
other regions do that too.
People are gonna bring up the Chinese players. All right, so anyone who's in North America, you can, if you do not read Chinese, you don't know what their understanding of what they're saying. They are actually they are trash. They trash talk everyone. Oh, the
LPL?
Chinese. Yeah, come on, man.
What's it called? I'm free. FPX. Like, Doonby literally flamed G2 so bad.
Oh, but it's
when they won the finals.
But it's
like,
okay.
Their post interviews, they posted like the translations, and they were pretty much like that was the easiest fucking series I've ever had in my life.
I remember like Tien was just like, I think they didn't do. I didn't think they forgot to use this ability or some shit like that. He like said something where he was legitimately confused. Like, he was acting like.
Right.
Is this even reality?
I think it's just better. Like, that's why I like watching like EU. I've even played over in EU, and that shit is fucking toxic as hell. And I love it. It's great.
I'm definitely going on TL right now. It was not a good week. I don't think we can blame Double Lift for this week, as he missed one game and he was not really given much of a chance to do much in the second game.
Honestly, I think they screwed themselves over when they got rid of Xmithy. There was no reason to. You wanted a jungler that didn't do anything. Like, Broxah at Worlds really didn't do much.
It's because they weren't around out their team, apparently, but their team's not even playing. They're like, past.
Well, my big issue right now is a little bit of the draft. I look at, like, especially, like, the Immortals draft. I thought that was just a very arrogant draft and very poorly made. I think a lot of us can agree, Double Lift as an AD carry is somebody who does very well, obviously on hyper carry type champions, but also champions that have some form of self-PR or some form of outplay. A champion like Miss Fortune almost has nothing there. Your main ability is standing still and pressing R and hoping nobody touches you, which, looking at the bans, the only AD carry that was banned that match was Senna, So I know Immortals picked Aphelios, but CL, Team Liquid could have 100% picked Isaiah or a Rakan, Isaiah, a Caitlyn, a Tristana that we've seen other teams bring out.
Everybody's picking MF though, not just them.
Yeah, it's everyone's picking. The problem I find with
thing.
their draft is, I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of Zach. I don't think Zach's very good.
Also agree with that.
As a top laner, that's a pretty weird pick.
Top
I get
laner,
it.
jungler. I just don't think.
It's a good
he's
support
all-
right now.
But I
Yeah.
also
He's
think,
solo queue champ.
I think in general, it's not always so much with TL. I don't necessarily know if draft is so much their issue. I think it's more that their team cohesion and communication and their ideas of individually what they want to do on the map versus team what they want to do on the map, it just seem like they're all over the place. Because I mean, like, you think back last split, and they played a freaking TFT comp, the glacial comp. You know what I mean? And they smashed with that. So it's like, it doesn't necessarily, they're all individually skilled enough. You can pretty much put them on any champ to succeed, but it looks like without Xmithy, their coordination is just gone. And I did not realize, I don't think, how big a part Xmithy played into that, because he usually took a back seat, I think, in TL Spotlight, but I think he was a really big component of that.
So the thing with the Smithy is, I mean, even Double said it in an interview with fucking Travis, like right after it happened. He was like, honestly, I loved playing with Smithy. Like, they didn't lose a single best of 5 series the whole time they played together. And Smithy was, I think, one of the highest first blood participation or first blood junglers in the league.
Yeah. Thing is, I don't like putting everything on the jungle swap, because as the team, they're just been playing like shit.
Oh yeah, no,
Like,
100%.
Yeah, like if they were playing, if the 4 other players were playing at the level they were playing at the end of summer last year, like they would still be in second place at least. It's them just being lazy and not practicing enough, and now that they're in the season, it's really hard to make up that ground.
I mean, look at Sven and Vulcan went to Korea and bootcamped there.
Yeah.
And look at how they're doing. They're easily the best bot in NA right now.
Well, and I think it's also important to recognize, like, Cloud9 also did, I mean, they did some team synergy work and like boot camping and whatnot, but they also did a lot of individual work. Like, I mean, Sven talked about going on and he just analyzed VOD after VOD after VOD and like the player view ones to see how people were doing the micro and everything else and what they were focusing on. And like, I feel like that really helped push C9 to the next level. But TL really, they didn't have that prep. They didn't have time to practice as a team, and they're feeling kind of complacent in general because they've won the past 4 splits without really anybody truly challenging them. So I think they got taken by surprise having a whole team of individuals and the team put in that much work. And now I think they're scrambling because I think other teams are also in the same boat. We're like, oh, we got to scramble to catch up. But now everybody's, it's kind of like the C9 got to jump at the starting line, but it's individual and team components.
I got one thing to jump in for, because usually this guy goes into a lot of things. So I think people kind of overrated Tactical's week 1 performance. I've seen this with so many teams over watching League all of my life at this point, is that a team will have a problem and then they'll put in another player for whatever reason. Then that player has a good lucky week. He does things really incredible. He's exactly what people want for the team. Next week, this guy starts sucking because that's just how things happen with the game. Like, I think TL surprised so well that they didn't really see his flaws. So I've actually seen Tactical play in Academy. I watch Academy. I know him as a player. I think he's not that bad. I think he does have a long, great future ahead of him. But I think TL really started to, what's the word? They got a little bit too overhyped on him. I think people need to understand he wasn't really that good in that week specifically. And I just think that they tunneled so hard on, oh my god, we finally found a person that's motivated. I think that's what they only wanted out of him. A person that was motivated.
Hashtag keep Keith. Keep Keith. Do you remember that?
No.
Couple seasons.
Oh yeah.
I think the big thing with tactical, like what the first last week was when they did so well. I think a lot of that success goes down to just that was clearly Brox's best week, and that was the most in synergy, like him and Impact have felt together. And it carries a role of your team's doing well. It's easy just to go forward. And even in this game against CLG, I don't think tactical was horrible. It's just that, like, I'm not trying to get back to draft, but there's just some things with TL that I just don't think at this time are good. I think you're starting to see a big fall off in Lee Sin's because a team can play a tank jungler, and if Lee Sin doesn't snowball early, he just becomes kind of useless. Kudos to CLG for running the Janna top.
Oh my god.
That's one thing I wish we saw more LCS teams actually try this season, and I feel like they took the approach of, well, this is going to get nerfed, so let's stop caring, like, let's not do this strategy. But, you know, like, Soraka's and Sonas were not getting banned or picked in the LCS all split long top lane when it was a consistent pick or ban in other regions. There's just, like, this consistent, like, well, like, they're trying to think what's going to be OP the next patch, or what's going to, you know, without worrying about what can win this patch.
I have one thing to say before we go to QJ. QJ, what do you think about TL dropping their 2 games this week?
It's a regression. That's what I think. I feel like so they're kind of suffering. Who was it? Bella Vita, what she was saying about Bjergsen and his playstyle. Bjergsen's playstyle and like the way that he has always wanted to play the game is very similar to TL's playstyle and how they want to play the game. They want to just scale and team fight constantly. But the thing is at the same time, they didn't really prep and do any of their homework prior to the season start. So they're just totally non-prepared, and then at the same time, their players aren't motivated in a meta where everyone's pretty much on full nitrous, like 24/7, and like rearing to go. So they're at a deficit because of it. Because for one, they're swapping around 80 carries, which is a really big issue. Like swapping around players if you don't have the synergy going on with your team to begin with. And then 2, like, you know, I think she also said the identities of the players are kind of just all over the place. They didn't really know how they want to play the game. And that's why I'm saying, like, you guys are saying, oh, Jensen's like one of the best mids. Like, he is, but at the same time, it's like, it's pretty sad because TL as an oracle, like, kind of trolling him with the identity and the shot calling and the decision making.
Yeah, I agree. Because I think that Jensen has come back to his C9 form, but it's not being looked at right now because he's on TL, who's also doing pretty bad.
Yep. Also, I'd like to say before we move on about the tech, I think TL made a huge mistake by putting Doublelift back in this early. You should have let him sit for a while.
Yeah, it was only 2 games.
Yeah.
It was one weekend.
That was a nice bench you did there, TL. Good job.
Because...
Yeah, talking about that kind of like that motivation thing, you know, it's like, yeah, we're benching you for motivation issues. Okay, same weekend, you're back in. All right, here you go. Like, it's just, I don't know.
Well, so, I mean, with that, though, it could also be, you know, I don't know if they do scrims during the weekends between, I don't think they do, never mind. I don't know.
It might have been
scrims
scrims on
performance
Saturday.
issues and scrims, but I mean, if he was just for this weekend, then, yeah.
You also don't know, you know, what is, like, yeah, he kind of got benched on the week where he got sick, but we don't know how hard he's been working, you know, the last 2 or 3 weeks before even getting sick. So it might have been like, take this opportunity to bench him, but seeing that, like, he's actually had 3 weeks of hard work, and the fact that you're trying to make playoffs, you have to put him in now. Again, if you have a person like Doublelift, do not put him on a champion misfortune where he's literally his one ability is standing still and ulting.
I think it's also on Doublelift in terms of, like, this was a really bad split timing for him to get demotivated, because this is probably one of the biggest shifts in 80 carries we've seen in a couple of years. Because you come in from the off season, suddenly Aphelios and Senna and Misfortune are all the meta. They're the top 3 meta picks, and none of those have been in the meta really for a couple splits now. Because
Yeah.
2 of them never existed.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
MF, the way it's being played now is very different from like before she was being used as like, last time we really saw her, she was like a support to counter Zyra.
No one was playing that competitively at all.
So I
It's
know
like-
like Sven talked about going and spamming that when he was in Korea because he was like, these are the ones I'm going to need to know for this upcoming split because this is
Mhm.
this is the meta and this is going to be what's contested and I have to know it. And to lose motivation on a split where you suddenly can't just play Xayah or Kai'Sa, at least initially. Like now Xayah's back in the meta, but like the first couple games, no. And
Well, he played Xayah against TSM the first weekend, and they won that game off of him.
but I
True.
think it's also you then have to spend bans on those contested picks. Like it's I don't know. It was just bad timing. I think like if you're gonna get demotivated, pick one when your role didn't change so drastically.
Right.
All right,
No.
so taking it back to TL, guys, we're still on that topic right now because me and Con actually have a bet. So the bet was if C9 and TL make the finals, if TL wins, I gift him a $10 skin, and then vice versa if C9 win. C9 is gonna win that, and if they don't, I'm crying this time around. I am fucking crying if C9 don't win the split. But TL's next games are against Golden Guardians, then they have to face FlyQuest, then they have to face Dig. No, sorry, Cloud9. So the next games is Cloud9, and then FlyQuest, and then you have Golden Guardians, and you have Evil Geniuses. So I want to ask all of you right now. Khan's going to say yes. I know he's a TL fan, but do you guys think that TL won't make playoffs?
So no, I will never say that they will not make playoffs.
They're running out of time.
I think it's really hard to say that any team outside of, any team that isn't. I think it's really hard to say that TSM, C9, and TL are going to be counted out of playoffs at any time. To be honest,
Okay.
because those 3 teams and how their orgs work and how their players work, like they always find some way to be relevant in playoff time.
They have to face Evil Geniuses and Golden Guardians. So we should assume that's a 2-0 week for them,
Yeah.
right?
I wouldn't assume anything.
I
They
don't know
don't
about
fully
that.
control.
Just like I said I would never assume they're out of playoffs. I would never assume that they're going to elite.
I see them going
Here's the
2, but I can't tell you who they're going to win 2 and lose to. Like I don't. I just that's my gut.
Well, here's my thing. Like, if I'm gonna look at these next 4 matchups with TL, I favor them versus Golden Guardians. I think they're gonna come motivated next week. The first game, they're gonna win it. I think they could lose to EG. FlyQuest is kind of in a little bit of a downside right now, and I actually think TL matches up very well against them. Just pound for pound in some lanes. And then I actually think they have a good shot against C9 in the last game of the year because I think C9 will either 1, have their academy squad in, or 2, pick a troll comp that doesn't matter at all.
I can see that.
Or like
I-
practice something random that they want to see.
Like, they might try their own TFT comp like TL did last year.
I don't know. I think TSM has awakened a monster in Cloud9 with that game. I saw them play Golden Guardians, and it looked like a 6'8" person going up to a 5'4" person and just completely just destroying them. It looks like Cloud9 is kind of angry right now. I think they're just going to try to dumpster the rest of their last 4 games.
I don't want to count out TL though. Like I still think they make a comeback.
I've heard rumors that C9, especially given that, look at their week this week, is 100th is a little tough, but CLG. I've heard rumors from people inside that they're already thinking about picking champions like Teemo and stuff since they're locked at the first seed.
Yes, embody it.
Oh shit!
know.
I'm sorry to laugh,
Well,
guys.
here's the
That's just
thing.
funny. I'm sorry about
Here's
that.
the thing: if you're Cloud9, and TL needs to do work, they need help to actually get into playoffs. If you're Cloud9, it's the last game of the split, and if you beat TL, they don't get into playoffs. You can bet that Cloud9 is going to say, "All right, let's send them home."
You'd be dumb not to, because in a best of 5, TL still hasn't lost in the past like 3 or 4 years.
Because
so.
the standings are so close. The standings are so close. It's basically past third place. It's basically a toss-up, and then the gap is like 3rd through 9th is playoff material, and then you have 10th place, which is counter logic trash. So it's like, I don't know.
Like, I think you can put it this way: if TL 2-0s this week, they have a very, very high chance of making playoffs.
They have the schedule to do it too. They have to face EG and Golden Guardians. I think they can 2-0 this week.
Thing is, EG and Golden Guardians have both played better than TL this entire split.
I wouldn't say Evil Geniuses, dude. They've literally turbo-inted half their games.
Well,
But
Evil Geniuses is a coin flip team.
He's just super coin flippy. Like, it's,
Yeah.
a lot
That's
of
because
it
they have
is, like,
Jizuke.
I told
Yeah,
people. I literally
think-
told people he would suck.
EG is literally
But I
like
think-
if Blabber was a jungler and a mid laner.
Oh my
yes,
God.
yeah, no, definitely. But I think-
If Blabber was a team,
But I think they have moments where they are coordinated, right? They're
Yeah.
teams when they're super coordinated, and that's something you can fix. Like sometimes it takes time, but I mean we're seeing a split right now where like you have both Blabber and Dardoch playing functionally and doing well for their team. So like Jizuke has a lot of potential to harness and coordinate with his team.
Well, so Dardoch always played functionally. He just
His
would flame his
attitude.
team at the same time.
Let me correct
That will always
myself. So
be
his
the
attitude is
double
functional to split,
Bro,
and Blabber's
I'm not gonna lie.
impulses.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. That shit was funny when he would flame flame Lorlo. Oh fuck! You got your eyes open and shit. Oh, that shit would kill me. Oh my god.
dude, here's the thing. There's a difference between the flame that Dardoch puts out and like the flame that someone like either Doublelift or Niski put out, because like there's mean spirited and then there's being constructive, right?
Mhm.
And Dardoch is very much just I'm just shitting on you. Fuck you. I wish you weren't my teammate. Whereas other players like Doublelift, if he finds his teammates, he just wants them to play better. He's not trying to ruin he's not trying to put them down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that he has a different type of criticism that's actually legitimately toxic.
Also, like,
Yeah.
the thing is also is like Doublelift, especially if you like watch his stream and everything, he'll fucking joke around like, man, I'm fucking trash. Like he does it
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Dardoch was just
had a
straight
race
fucking.
problem.
Everybody else was garbage. My team, and honestly, it kind of was his team. Like Dardoch was actually. Really
That's why he's finally on a good org. That is very unlikely that will happen again. At least
But-
if it were to happen, we would have already seen it with that 0-2 week they had.
But I think you also have to be able to harness your tude. You know what I mean? You're playing professionally. It's your job. Like if I hardcore flamed people not in a joking way in my job, like I would get fired, right? And so
Mhm.
it does things super dysfunctional over time. And your team can be mechanically bad, but that's improvable. But they're going to be less motivated to improve if you're hardcore flaming them. So I'm super happy to see that like it doesn't seem like he's doing that anymore, and it seems like this is like the Dardoch I wanted to see, you know.
Mhm.
But I think, like I said, going back to EG, like I think Jizuke has the ability. There is a world in which he and his team get on the same page, and if that happens, they're gonna look a lot stronger. But I think they've had games where they've done that, but I don't know which EG is gonna show up versus TL. You know what I mean? I have no idea.
I just,
So with Jizuke, his whole thing was like even in EU, when he'd play, he'd have games where he could 1v9, and then there's games where he was like 0-8. Like
dude, I
it was-
remember. Yeah, he was over here seriously
Yeah.
like 0-8 and on the block, basically running it down and shit.
well, and so what comes down with that is you know, at least with Niski, Sven had some sort of like they had really good synergy. So like right now, it's pretty much just like Sven does his own thing, Jizuke does his own thing, and Bang is doing his own thing. Like they're never.
Yeah, they literally have 3 different components to their roster.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
where's the bang
bad.
of old?
Well, definitely, like we're gonna see.
Kumo is one of the worst tops. Mid and jungle are like doing their own thing constantly, and bot Zazel's like super passive.
Zazel is
And-
easily
Yeah,
bottom 3 support in the league, and I will stand by that.
Hold on, in
he
the
just is
first
horrible
20
at
minutes-
laning.
Yeah, once he gets into the mid game, he's
He's like Barrel.
His
He
strongest
has like
quality
2
is shot
champs that
calling.
he's really
His
good on, and then
laning
the
is
rest are
bad.
just nah.
he is an Alistar god. watched
Exactly like Barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. If anybody has never watched
Oh.
Damwon, then yeah, you'll know what we're talking about.
Yeah. So
Look,
I'd
Khan,
like to say though, one on
Ravioli. I think your mic's cutting out again.
Yeah, hard to hear.
hello.
Are you good?
Hello? Are you good? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Fine?
yeah, we're good now.
All right. So one last thing about TL before we move. Yeah, just because I don't like this narrative that they're motivated now, it's suddenly gonna fix. Motivation's just one component. That's the thing that allows you to get better. I don't think they have enough time at this point to make up the ground. I don't. I think their spring split is lost, and they should just focus on getting ready for summer.
Yeah,
I
I agree.
don't think so, purely based off of, what was it, 2 or 3 years ago? Or no, I think it was like 2 years ago when half the Cloud9 roster got benched for motivation. And they were garbage. And then they came back, still made playoffs, and ran all the way through Gauntlet. That's why
And
I
made
will
finals.
say, that's
Yeah.
why I will never count them out at any time
And then make
for
tough-
motivation issues, especially because it's double lift statistically for the past like many years has proven that nobody else in the ADC position's really close.
since 2016,
Yeah,
pretty much.
I feel like
Yeah,
I just
but-
said earlier, you can never count out TSM, TL, or C9 ever
Yeah.
from
Listen,
playoffs.
it's just-
I mean, I think
when you
C9's
did
worst
that-
nightmare would be seeing TL in the first round of playoffs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with C9. When C9 they benched them, and it was like that for what, 4 weeks? It was a 5 week. One of the. And then they came back, and then they proceeded to smash every. TL hasn't done that, and they don't seem to be improving. Like they're just not getting better.
Yeah, he's not lying. That's the thing, though. They're not like the C9 that we remembered from 2018 summer. They're kind of like they could be that on certain games, but then they revert back to a team that basically go on stage without typing, without keyboards.
I mean,
Yeah, they just-
the season still has 2 weeks. If they come out these next 2 weeks and completely 4-0 and stomp everybody, including C9 and FlyQuest, you're going to be talking about them exactly like we're saying now. We're not saying that's going to happen. We're
Yeah.
saying there's still a potential possibility of that happening, and they'd be the third or fourth seed at that point.
If they
Yeah.
go,
Honestly, out of every team, they're the team I would expect to do that.
yeah, if they go 3-1,
Right.
I have hope for them. Losing to
Right,
Cloud9.
I think
Right,
that
right.
they're behind the curve on a lot of things. Like I think you're right in that they're basically out of time. I think that if they manage, I think this week's going to be really telling, because if it looks like they've fixed their coordination issues and whatnot, then they'll probably look pretty strong. And I think if they make it into playoffs, they're only going to look stronger as playoffs go on, because they're basically getting more practice time, but I don't know. Like it's hard to know, because some of the teams they're playing are very coin flippy, and I don't know if this is a quick problem for them to diagnose and fix, or if it's really just because they lost so much time in the off season, whether due to lack of motivation, not having the team together, not practicing, whatever it is, all these factors, it just might have piled up too much. And I think we're going to see a lot this weekend that's going to tell us which direction it's going in.
Now, a side note going into this weekend, we're moving on to patch 10.5, and one big thing that can benefit TL on this patch is the patch where Kai'Sa got buffed in a place where she might be, and very well could be, playable in the bot lane. And Kai'Sa is a champion we all know Doublelift has supreme mastery on and can carry on. I don't think we'll see him back on MF the rest of the split.
I don't
Unless
think
the
we're
other
seeing
team
him
just
on
bans
MF or
Kai'Sa.
Senna like ever again.
Which is a shame because fasting Senna is probably the best bot
Bro, I love Senna,
that
man.
you can
Senna's
make right
fun.
now. Well, it's just the power of having a fully fed tank, fully CSing tank in the lane is so fucking. It means you can pick things like set Aatrox the top lane, still not lose out on the team fight power for having it. It's just so strong. And Senna does. She maybe loses half a step compared to other 80 carries late game.
I mean, she's amazing, but I mean, if you look at like other regions, I watch a lot of LPL and LCK mainly. Senna's actually not heavily prioritized at all in like Korea.
That's because Korea's playing a game.
What happened? Ravioli, you're cutting like a
cutting
little.
out.
Hello?
You're cutting it out again. What is going on with
All
your
right,
mic?
hold
You
on.
sound like Mr. Krabs.
Oh my god. Anyway, okay, am I good now?
Say a full sentence clearly without cutting out.
All right. Korea is playing the game the wrong. You can't. They don't want to.
It's still cutting out really bad.
Yeah.
I think what he's
All
trying to say, yeah, fix your mic. But I think what you're trying to say is that they're not playing the game optimally for the way the game is set up.
Korea
Right
is
now.
literally stuck in
It's
2015
very
meta.
slow.
Yeah.
So
All
slow.
right. How about now?
Yeah, it's pretty good so far.
So far.
Okay. Cool.
Wink, wink.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Literally, Korea doesn't play setup because she doesn't go into the mindset of, hey, let's handshake for 20 minutes, have a single team fight, and the team that has the either lost it or doesn't have the better scaling comp. I guess they just get to slowly lose.
Senna's
I
the
mean-
ultimate scaling ADC though, or support.
Senna is the actual 80 carry you want to handshake and get to late game.
Yeah, that is literally the definition
I
of
don't-
a handshake ADC.
Not what
It depends.
I don't say. It's not only that; it's they don't want to really like they. There's a reason why they've been the third best region at the last two. They refuse to play any aggressive style. I mean, were they not the third best region last year?
No, I would still not say
China-
they're the third
China-
best region. If we want to go regional, I would say probably the fourth best team. Well, because first off, they only had one good team. EU did, and that was
G2.
So to say they're the best region, by far, no, not even close. I would say that literally any team in Korea could probably stomp second place and below. Maybe not second, because Fnatic was actually not too bad. Fnatic was.
This is what I would say. I'd say if you still have a Korean team in your group at Worlds, you should still be shitting your pants that they're gonna destroy you. People thought they were bad after 2018, and then they all got first place in their groups the following year. They had some freaking Ultra Instant Goku moment, and all just wanted to prove to the world that they're still good. Oh, but last things before we cut off TL to move on to TSM opening C9's ass is what are you guys saying? TL make playoffs or not? I'm saying they do. Bella, what are you gonna say? Yes or no?
Oh god. I say
On the
you asked
spot.
me after this weekend.
On the spot. Say it with your chest.
Okay,
Yay or
so
nay?
I think that they make playoffs and they go to semis.
Con, what you got?
I think they're going 4-0 the rest of the way. I think they're going to 2-0 this week, and it's going to take them into a 4-0, and they're going to get third or fourth.
QJ?
Sure, why not? I
Send
mean,
it.
the rest of the fucking league shit.
Oh god, Ravioli?
No.
Oh, okay. Shinryu, what do you think?
I think they'll make it. I'll think they'll probably go to finals, depending on if they play Cloud9 first or not.
Also, one thing before we go to TSM versus C9, Shinryu, why do you sound like Santorin? You literally sound like Santorin.
I don't know. My voice on mics sound completely different than actually how I sound.
I swear I was talking to Santorin. You sound just like him. Oh my god. I thought I was literally talking to Santoro. I was like, oh my god, I better not say anything bad about FlyQuest. Oh my god. Alright, this week, C9's 1880 Dream was stopped by QJ's team, Free SM, team Trash Mid. No, I'll admit, we were literally talking about this, and he's like, I think TSM's gonna beat C9. I was like, I don't think so, man, because the last time around, it looked pretty convincing C9 was better, but no. C9 lost this week. Their 18-0 Dream is gone. TSM played the Wombo Combo Comp, and people in the C9 Facebook group and us, we were like the Shen pick. Oh my god, that's what lost us the game. I still think that lost us the game. I still personally think that myself.
I think that it was worth going for. If they thought maybe it was viable in scrims and it was worth going for, I think that TSM shut it down really well. I think C9's draft was very reactive to TSM, but TSM was already countering them in the draft, and I think C9 realized it too late. I think that TSM basically pulled out a draft what C9 used to pull out when we used to do like Zillion Kindred and stuff like that, like just the kind of wombos upon wombos upon
Cancer.
wombos.
The cancer.
And Blabber first were playing, together, and so I think they basically out C9 C9 in that regard. But I'm super glad it happened, because I think it keeps our team, or keeps the team I cheer for, Cloud9, keeps them from getting complacent. And I think that they needed that, because I think that was a blind spot that they exploited against other teams a couple splits ago, but they needed to have that exploited against them so they can prep for it. And I think that will be helpful for them moving forward, because I think they learned a lot from that. I think they can learn a lot from that particular match and drafting setup. A lot of pitfalls that we typically fall into in the off season, like playoffs and things.
So I'll give you my reason why C9 lost that game in full context.
Be nice to me, please.
They picked Misfortune, and TSM countered with Zyra. Misfortune instantly can't do anything into that bot lane. Next thing up, they picked Lee Sin jungle. And the one thing I said to Ravioli and Swagmaster here last week is Blabber is going to play these very early game heavy AD junglers, and the meta is moving more and more towards tank. And unless Blabber plays perfectly, these type of junglers are going to fall off and they're going to become useless in the game. And that's exactly something that would have happened. Like, that's kind of one of the major things that happened this game. I don't think Shen was as much as an issue as anything. I just think that, again, Zyra Khan is something that's being slept on by teams, and too many teams are picking Lee Sin.
Yeah, I think that I liked that on Monday they pulled out Pantheon for Blabber, because I think he needs to not just go to the Lee Sin comfort pick a lot. I think that tank junglers are going to be more and more what we're going to be seeing in playoffs and whatnot, and I think just having team kits that synergize together. I feel like what they were looking at is they really needed the Shen to empower the rest of the team, but if you shut down the Shen, then you have nothing to empower the team, and the rest of the kits didn't synergize. So
go ahead.
Yeah, also, yeah, it's exactly that. They just focused Shen and just wasn't useful. Also, they also had to put resources up top lane as far as, because the Shen just loses the set. So it's not even in a 1v1 lane the Shen can get by. The Shen was down 20 CS at 10 minutes in a game where the Shen needs to be able to lane and not fall too far behind. It's just, yeah, it's just the team comp seems confused. They picked a Zoe with a Shen and an MF, where Zoe wants to either poke or catch people out, but the rest of the team wants to be a team fight.
Hard engage.
Yeah.
Leona
yeah,
MF.
That's a really confused draft. Whereas Zillion already just shuts down that catch out, burst down sort of style they were trying to play. Like, honestly, it was the Shen, but also the Zillion was just a hard counter to the entire team comp.
Plus,
Well-
TSM's comp was better at engaging reliably.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they didn't have any rescue because TSM banned up the Tom Kench, which they have been using in conjunction with the MF and Lee to pull them out, you know. And it's like there's nothing.
Looking at the draft, TSM did a good job banning out Pantheon. That was a good call from Bella about them bringing C9 bringing out Pantheon in their second game this week. TSM did deny that, but seeing that C9 banned Ornn instead of Set, I don't necessarily like that because I think Set. One thing we saw from Impact last week was not this week, but the week before is he could play Set top lane and just win lane. While Ornn is a very OP style champion, I think looking at the draft and what C9 did, you can give up Ornn first pick, and if you want to pick MF, I don't like it, but you can go MF Braum, and Braum counters Ornn and a lot of stuff, and still synergizes a lot better with MF.
I don't think you want to let Broken Blade have Ornn or Set.
Well,
To be real with you,
I'm not disagreeing with that either.
yeah.
TSM also has a tendency to not be able to close out games very early. And so if you give them Ornn, suddenly they get this huge gold injection from Ornn items. And it's, I think it's...
Yeah.
I know right now Ornn is basically the auto ban red side. Like, you have to ban it.
My counterpoint to you would be, when TSM doesn't win early game, they just lose late game.
Yeah. I think that
Yeah,
game
that's fair.
showed why they want to avoid mid game, because if their problem is mid game, well, if you pick an early game comp, well, you don't have to show any mid game mistakes if you actually smash your enemy team in 25 minutes.
Yeah.
I think the issue with
The good
last
thing,
year.
though.
Oh yeah, go ahead, QJ.
Only thing I was gonna say is I feel like the thing that TSM is showing over every other team, which I feel like is like their most promising trait, is I feel like they're probably the most flexible team in the LCS right now. Like I understand that they have done a lot of testing and like a lot of like random comps here and there, but to be real, like they've shown to be able to play like at least 3 different styles. Right? Well, they haven't played the split push style yet. But as far as like team fighting in early game, I feel like there's only, you either are doing one or the other. Like C9 is pretty much doing like the fast like end like comps. But it just feels like TSM at least are like trying to like have like a grip on like multiple playing styles, which is like really, really good. Not only that, like Broken Blade, Bjergsen, and Dardoch have shown proficiency on multiple flex picks, which I feel like is not something that any org is doing right now, which is like super good.
I think for that game specifically,
we did just see Cloud9 pick Syndra Pantheon.
Oh, actually, you're right. I didn't watch that
Yeah.
game.
Yeah,
They had...
Yeah.
The
Thanks
three
for
picks
reminding
were
me.
all
It wa-
flexible.
yeah, it was the Great Bamboozle.
The Syndra bottom. I was actually surprising.
Now we
I
have
was happy I called it. I was like, the Syndra's going to Sven. I know it.
now we finally have an
Yeah,
ADC who can play mages.
No gas.
Oh my god.
hey,
Please
Sneaky was
don't
a
bully
great
Sneaky.
Heimerdinger.
I think I want to also I think that just on a side note, as like a Cloud9 fan, I'll
Wink,
reiterate
wink.
again. I'm actually like super happy that they lost this game because I think they learned a lot from it, and I know like I don't know if folks like follow when they post on Twitter, but typically like most of the pros will post as soon as they get out of the game, and Cloud9 follows that kind of thing. They were in a team meeting immediately after the game for the next hour, just dissecting everything. Didn't go anywhere else. Like they sat and hashed it out like right there. And I think like that's I mean I'm sure they've hashed it out since then, but like I like that they posted out later like that it was really productive, and I'm like I like to see teams having that kind of mentality, because I think if more teams can do that in the LCS, I think the region will,
So I think
push
for
further.
I think for
Yeah.
TSM specifically, they just need to keep giving Bjerg his comfort picks.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you look at like when he first came over here, and he was the pretty much solo carry, and they gave everything to him. He would hard carry games. His Zilean win rate is like 70% plus, 80% plus.
So good.
So I mean, like realistically, and also for that game specifically, like even the casters were saying against Zoe, you can easily dominate that matchup. Every time he Rs, you just double Q to where the R goes back to.
Because this composition is what C9 are running right now. Reminds me of what Fnatic were doing against G2, because they realized they really couldn't go up against them at certain points in the certain stages in team fighting. Because if you're gonna pick Shen, why not have Nisqy pick like TF and have a full global composition?
Full dive.
Yeah.
Full dive.
Or better than TF probably. Just pick the Taliyah.
That would have that's fine too. Yeah,
Tiana.
Because last year Fnatic ran this against G2. They ran TF, Shen, and had Tahm Kench bot lane. If you're gonna go full global, just go full global then. At that point, I don't see.
Yeah, what I would have done, instead of picking Shen, I would just pick Janna top.
That's fine too. Yeah. I'll accept that.
Yeah. Or Soraka banned?
I think Soraka's nerfed at this point on this patch.
Soraka's still strong.
You still think so?
Yeah, she's
still strong, but I think Janna took over the role as the best support top.
I think also, if you take Soraka into that comp that TSM had, then J4 comes in and ult you, or set ult you into the J4, and then it's like they just had so many wombos that work together, and Soraka can only silence so many people.
Oh, you're getting dumped.
Once Rakan goes in with fucking J4 ulti and set Showstopper,
you're getting dumped.
There is no way you're leaving that.
Yeah,
except if you hit Janna ult and they all go back away.
Yeah.
Or if Cloud9 just picked Gragas.
But they banned Gragas.
Can I say one thing though?
Oh yeah, they banned him in the first wave. Yeah, that's
Can I just point out one simple side note?
No. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Damn.
I'm just kidding.
Can we talk about Bjergsen's ridiculous ass Zilean ultimate 1v3?
Oh, he should not have lived. I don't know how the fuck he had any time to self-cast R. That was stupid.
He was hitting alt R.
This dude has he had 6 fingers. I swear.
Reaction time was insane,
dude.
Yeah.
He had to have just been rolling his face into the R, but there's no other way.
I mean, I have a question for everybody.
Sure.
If Bjergsen plays any other champion besides Zilean, does TSM still win this game?
I think so too.
Probably not.
Yeah. I think they still win. I think they still win.
Sure.
I think they still win.
Well, the thing is, you guys have to realize, Bjergsen isn't, TSM's carry anymore. I mean, he can be, but it's Broken Blade.
Broken Blade also just straight up 1v1. He straight up won the matchup. He was winning on his own without... he was winning on his own.
That was the thing. So they already set the groundwork for a winning condition with Broken Blade having set. Because, tell me if I'm wrong, but Broken Blade is basically arguably, if not the best or the second best top in the league. And
someday
still.
I would still say someday.
One quick side note.
Making a small comeback.
I'll say one quick side note. If you guys had to throw in 3 top laners right now, who would it be? We'll start with Shinryu. Who are your top 3 top laners right now?
Someday Licorice, and I'd probably throw Broken Blade in there.
Ravioli?
In no specific order, maybe.
Yeah. Yep, same.
QJ?
Licorice, Broken Blade, someday.
Okay. QJ?
Yeah.
The same?
I'll say the same thing. Yeah, those are the 3 best.
Okay. Khan?
It's clearly Broken Blade, Someday, and Licorice.
Bella?
You're asking me about top lane. I play support tops and island. I don't know about top lane. I would have to agree with everybody else, but I don't have super strong feelings about
Bella. So you're the person in my solo queue games that rages at me when I feed top lane. Oh my god, my top laner's an inter. GG at 15.
No.
Why is Jax one-shotting me?
I will say Soaz is creeping into the discussion of top 3 if he keeps playing this well.
Soaz is really good.
I'll give it to him. I'll give it to him. People have always
He just
overrated
has
him.
good game sense. That's what he has when it comes down.
But
to it.
that's a quality of a good top laner though. Like
He plays
that.
the impact style of a top laner, where he's not dominating lane, but he plays the long game.
Absorbs pressure like no other.
Impact has been playing like hot garbage though for a lot of the splits. So.
I think Impact's played worse than Doublelift this split.
Oh my! Is that wait? Is that really is that really the bar is set that high at that point? Come on. It just depends on I don't know. I think if you throw Zilean out of Bjergsen's hands, what do you give him that still is gonna make him dominate the way he did? Because he popped up when he was able to scale up effectively.
They took Syndra, so
I was gonna say Syndra, but yeah.
I would say.
So wait, actually though. Oh, sorry. I'll let you finish.
There's two champions. He could have played Orianna one champion. I'm surprised we haven't seen yet, but it would have worked great this game. Galio.
Oh yeah, true. Anything that would have added additional damage / CC, I think.
Well, because realistically, for Galio specifically, if you time it right, you can just ult the set as he's landing.
Or set, yeah.
And then
you have your Khan J4 set. You can ult.
Yeah, the J4 Galio combo.
One sec.
That freaking SKT used to just run.
1 sec before we continue, Bella, she has to leave. So, is there anything you want to say before you close out? Will you ever be on again, or will you flame me in my solo queue games again?
Honor level 5 here. I don't flame.
You're honor level 5. Oh man, god damn.
Oh well, I'm honor level 0. 2 days ago.
Well, I should say I'm not honor level 5 yet. The split they haven't handed those out yet, but I
was
track.
5.
But no, it's been fun, and enjoy the rest of your discussion, and hopefully I'll catch you around sometime.
You're never allowed back on again. I'm just kidding. Girls don't play League.
No, there's no girl gamers. What are you talking about? Ugh.
Ew.
Did you see a mid beast called Pokemon a bot?
Jesus.
Yikes.
Bro, that shit was so
thanks,
funny,
guys. I'm
man.
out.
Bro, shit was fun. See you later. Have a good night.
See ya. Bye.
Oh man, I'm gonna lie, the Pokemon's so fire though. Oh my goodness. I would if she asked me out on a date, I would just pass out. I'm not gonna lie to you guys right now. But this has
girls don't come to you in life, do they?
You won this one. You got this one though. I don't know, because back in the day when I was a player, good lord, I don't want to tell you guys my stories yet.
Oh my God.
We don't know you guys. I don't know you guys yet, but I lost my honor. I lost my honor level 5 because I said, hey, my mid is literally inting 2 minutes in. He died 4 times in a row. Straight up tried to 1v1 the Pantheon with the Ignite Flash, and he's playing Talia. What are you doing? I said, hey, GG at 10 minutes. My mid has no eyes and can't lane. He was like, are you telling me I'm inting? Yes, you died 6 times in 5 minutes. You are inting. You fucking idiot. You goddamn idiot. I didn't say that because I don't want to get banned again. Riot actually banned me Tyler won. And I had to beg. I was like, hey, I'm the sweet guy. I had a bad day at work. Can you unban me, Riot, please? They're like, yeah, okay, we'll give you a month ban. And I was like, okay, I've been sweet ever since, except for yesterday. But they're like, you're fine because you've been on good behavior. I used to be like Dardock, actually, so I had to literally reform myself because I would get so mad at people for inting me. I got so angry.
Oh, man.
Have you guys
EU?
Have you guys ever had that before?
Oh, yeah. Literally the first, 10 ranked games of EU, somebody left.
Oh, my. Colin, have you ever had that before?
Oh, yeah. But, when you are like that, you deserve the bans that come your way, I think. And I say that as somebody who has gotten the chat restriction stuff every now and then my years.
I agree. I deserved it. I should not have said what I said, good lord, man. I used to be so mean back in the day. I would just rage at people so badly. Like this Veigar, he straight up inted me in a dive, and then I straight up cussed him out for the straight 30 minutes, right? It's like, okay, you're banned for a month. Just went all we were just going back and forth. Oh my god, back in the day when I was younger and I was good looking and got a lot of girls. Man, good lord.
Luckily, I have not been banned yet. I've been chat restricted 6 times, but I've never been banned.
Never been banned. Never had.
Good lord. One time.
I just try to tilt people.
What happened?
I'll just question mark.
That tilts people too.
Yep.
Golly, when they freaking
Yeah,
flash,
I
when
don't
they
know.
when they flash and they don't have to, you're like question Pinky, like, what did you flash for? You weren't even about to die. They're like, oh man, I just had to save myself. What the fuck? You're already under our tower. What's wrong with you? But no. Just one little side girl story before we go back to the rest of the stuff is one time we were watching Captain America: Civil War when it first came out, like Thursday opening night, and the kiss scene where Captain America and that ancestry chick that was Peggy's cousin or something like that. I was with another girl, not the girlfriend I have now. She better not watch this part. They kissed, and then we were just looking at each other like, am I supposed to do anything? Missed opportunities. Crap. But yeah, girls and me talking, it's like hard. I can talk to girls that I know, but if it's like a new complete stranger, I would just like fumble every single word. I'd probably stutter like nobody's business, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. But,
Yeah, I'm pretty good at talking.
oof. Alright, so...
What's the next topic?
Oh, sorry about that, Con. I'm sorry, Con. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. God, this is a hard one though. Rift Rivals canceled. MSI has moved to July, so that means the summer split is going to start in May.
I'll give you my just out of the wall. Like, I don't say out of the wall, but I have two major predictions coming up here, and that is one, the LCS finals will be moved to the LCS studio away from Frisco. If people didn't see, has been reported a corona case, at least one of them right now in Frisco, Texas.
Ooh.
So I expect at least by this time next week for that to not be in Texas anymore, given how many other recent events have been postponed and moved and stuff like that, including LAC finals. And I got one. I think that they should just cancel MSI and work to make sure Worlds is going to happen.
True.
I agree.
But I'm not opposed to this, but my main worry about this with MSI, and I put this on the Reddit page too, is that, so many people with Rift Rivals say it doesn't matter because it's in the middle of the summer split, and a lot of times the teams that qualify aren't the best teams to play. Like, imagine a world with MSI where half the teams going are like 3rd, 4th, 5th, or worst place in their summer split right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are people going to take this tournament, like are fans going to take this tournament as like a serious, like, major tournament, or are they going to say, like, it's not going to matter, these teams aren't the best in their league right now?
I think it depends. It depends on who wins and who loses. It's like specifically for international tournaments, it's always, NAEU is always talk shit to each other. So, like, when TL got fucking absolutely smacked in MSI, they went back in Rift Rivals, and then they went 1-1 against G2.
They went 2-0 against G2 in Rift Rivals.
Yeah, that's right. They went 2-0, and people are like, "Oh, well, it's just Rift Rivals. They weren't even trying." So it's like it depends on what the outcome is. If a team wins, then they'll be like, "Oh, yes, they're so good," and then if they lose, though.
I love that double standard bullshit. Oh, if they won, they're just trolling. But if NA loses, you were always fucking bad. You were never good anyway. It's like, what the hell? Dude, hate people in the community sometimes, man. I don't exactly hate them, but it's like that double standard shit is so fucking stupid. But before we get into that later on, this is the article, and this is what was said. MSI, which has traditionally been held in May, is now slotted to take place from July 3rd to the 19th. The summer split will begin before MSI in May. This decision was made by Riot to, minimize the impact on the rest of the calendar year. That means you could literally win spring and then already be in your summer split before MSI even takes place.
Yeah.
That's 100% going to happen. At work.
Ooh.
Yep.
Ah, man.
Here's the thing. I believe by the time MSI happens, that this coronavirus, at least everyone in North America is already gonna have had it, and I feel like it will basically be at its end, because I just think it's so infectious that it's just gonna take its course before that for MSI.
Is anybody scared of Corona?
I'm not.
I'm very
I'm
scared for
low-key,
people
like,
that I know that have weak
Weirded out about it.
I was gonna say, I think it depends. If you're older or have weak immune systems, then yeah, it's pretty deadly virus. But if you're not, like if you're just your average middle-aged person with a even decently healthy immune system, you're fine.
I'm not scared for myself. I might be a little bit more scared for my parents. And if I had grandparents, I'd definitely be concerned for them. Like my older aunts and uncles, you know.
Yeah, no, yeah.
And it's one of those things. The reason why a lot of these things are being canceled aren't because the people going are the people that are going to be at major risk. It's that they're going to pick it up and take it back to other people that are at major risk. Like for me personally, with my job, I probably see 50 people a week at least that fit that age group category with weak immune systems. And like me personally, if I had that without knowing, I would feel like horrible as shit knowing I might have gave it to 50 people with like a 2 to 20% death rate depending on age with that group, in that type of way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This has just made everything so much worse. Can people stop eating fucking bats? Like, come on. Good lord, man.
It could have been anything. Like, it might have been the bats. Might have been a lab. We're never gonna know because from China.
Man, this has just made the whole year, like, completely... What's the word I could use? Topsy-turvy? Is that the word you could use for this?
I would just say out of funk.
Yeah, like, Worlds, like, how do you even plan for Worlds at this point? You have MSI in July. Worlds usually is, like, when? Like, September? Usually?
October and September.
October, November.
Oh, man, there might
And
be...
it's taking place in China, the home country of the coronavirus, which
They
is
have-
having like slow down numbers and stuff, but I can think of certain countries that people in this call may be living in where a president may any day just say, we're going to ban China for the full year from any travel.
I think they should cancel Worlds at China and put it somewhere else.
Hey guys,
Yes?
I'm about to go actually.
Alright, see you later, dude. It was nice having you on.
Alright.
Sorry.
Hey, man.
I want to hug you, actually, through the computer, though.
Oh damn. All right. Well, pretend hug to everyone.
Oh, goodness. Can't wait to see TSM at a playoffs. Wait, what?
Sounds good. All right, guys. Take care.
Peace out, dude.
Here.
But yeah.
Later.
I don't know, because all this stuff depends on what you have to do to accommodate an event, what you have to do to obviously, takes to set up an event, how to get, the months in advance to plan an event. All that stuff is, oh my gosh, like, this whole year is for esports in general. It's not just League, it's, it's Counter-Strike, it's Overwatch, it's, Fortnite, all their stuff got changed. Man.
Not even just like esports. Let's just talk about real sports. You have soccer leagues in Europe being postponed or canceled. You have, basketball games for conferences right now being played without fans. You have certain professional teams living in counties that, have a restriction against gatherings of 1,000 or more people. There's a very real chance that you can see, like in America, you have NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, and MLB opening day and opening, month, where you might not be allowed to have fans attend.
Yeah.
Ooh, man. Because
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, because we're going to the LCS hopefully on Sunday, and when they announced that you can't do fan meet, you can't take pictures with the players, like, man, that hit me hard, because, like, I usually love, because you only get this opportunity, like, well, for me personally, like, twice a year, so I love enjoying taking pictures with the players and talking to them and having the one-on-one conversations, and due to this virus, a lot of people have been affected by this. People have died. There's been, like, almost a total, like, 4,000 deaths. Good lord, man. You guys think this is gonna go away anytime soon? Hopefully?
No, I actually think that you're going to see the LEC and LCS not start summer split on time and may potentially have trouble finishing their playoff season.
It depends. Like I said, I feel like at some point it is just gonna run its course, and then after that, people, because once the infection rate, or once the total number of get it, threshold is just gonna spread like wildfire, and everyone's just gonna have it and then get over it.
Well, the big issue that they're having right now is that people are getting the coronavirus twice. So it's not like your normal virus that you'd have it once, you have antibodies and it doesn't come back. There's been several cases of people getting coronavirus 2 or 3 times. It's very unique and weird. It's obviously attacking elderly people a lot more, people with weak immune systems. But like you would think, weak immune systems and stuff would be, if that was the target, you'd have a lot more issues with young kids and stuff. And there's been that's like the safest group in all, so far, which is actually scientists are saying is like extremely weird with something like this.
Jeez. This does not put me in a good mood. Anytime I hear about it, it's just like, that's just a big damper, because it seems to be something that no one ever thought was going to happen, and they just came out of just like left hook. Just made things so much worse for everyone.
Yeah, and it's not something that's going to be end of the world or anything like that. A lot of people are going to die, and that's sad. But it's nowhere near like a end of the world type scenario. It's just something that you're trying to contain it in a way so it doesn't affect everybody.
Its mortality rate's actually pretty low compared to most things, but it's still pretty unfortunate.
Well, 2% mortality extreme. That's really high. Like, let's say 2% of people in the world who get it. You're looking at about 100.
You're looking at almost 100 million deaths.
Yeah, and that just blows like the flu out of the water, which is the big thing I posting online. Oh, the flu kills 100,000 people every year, but people don't freak out about that. And I'm just going, yeah, well, the flu, that's the numbers for an entire year of the flu round.
Also, let's hope that this is
2 months.
Yeah, let's hope this doesn't go a full year and spreads like the flu.
Oh, it's going.
I know it's going to, but that's my reaction to people who say that. But on the topic of league, I really obviously Italy has their issue. Germany seems to be the next country where you're having a lot of rising going on. So I could see a very realistic possibility where like the LEC gets shut down in the next 1 to 2 months, just because Germany could do the same thing Italy did and shut down all professional sports, safe competition, and anything like that.
Well, they could also just do what the LMS is now. Basically, basically have online, do it online, or you could, or have it.
Or you're cutting out again.
It's still late. I am. God.
It wasn't the worst. We heard most of what you're saying. You're saying they could have it like in an online realm and stuff like.
Yeah, or they could set it up where they compete, you separate and whatnot.
Man,
you do it like that.
But I mean, realistically, like we're one professional player in any league away from catching that and shutting that league down.
That's true. Yeah. If any pro gets it in the LCS, it's shut down until further notice. Ooh, man. Yeah, good lord. Alright, you guys watch any of the LEC games actually, or any of the LCK games that you guys want to, give a shout out to?
I mean, specifically for LCK, I think it's funny that people thought SKT would be absolutely horrible now that Klid's gone. And they're top 3, I think, still. They ended up beating, I think it was Kingzone Dragon X when they were number 1.
Mm-hmm. They did.
Faker's playing amazing. Their new jungler's playing amazing. I forget his name. And then I forgot who their top is now. But Khan's replacement is playing great. Yeah, and Cuz has been good in general since he started playing. So, I mean, I don't see why people thought they were going to be garbage just because Klid left. I mean, Klid was easily the best jungler in the world, I would say, between him and Tarzan.
Yeah, it'd be close. I'd like to call out Dragon X, the one exciting LCK to watch. They managed to have 3 kills by 20.
I want to say Damn One is a big dumpster fire. I mean, it's literally Showmaker and Naguri. Not Showmaker and Naguri. Showmaker and Canyon. Naguri's playing the exact same way, and people want to tell me this guy's like a top laner of the world. I mean, by the stuff he does, it's very clearly evident he's not, but, you know, people are delusional and want to believe whatever the hell they want to believe, so... I think Damn One's a dumpster fire. I still think Gen.G is still pretty good. Now, I know their record says like it's first place, but they kind of don't look like a first place team. They're more like a third, fourth place team. But yeah, I think T1's looked great. Gen.G's looked like okay. Is Dragon X still? But aren't they 4-2, right?
They're 7-2.
Oh my god! Yeah, I forgot. Okay, yeah, they've been actually playing insanely well. Griffin is a dark horse team, I still think, but Tarzan and what's his name? Sword is so bad. Sword is so garbage, man.
I mean, Griffin's in 10th place. Griffin is almost all but out of the playoffs at this point.
Yeah, they're 2-7.
I feel bad because they don't actually look that bad. It's more like Sword is just such a liability. They can't play through him. And then the rest of their team is still trying to figure out certain things. I don't think they're like a horrible team, but yeah, you're right. I had a lot of hope for them still, even picking up UCal and players. They still had the AD carry, was named Viper, right?
Yeah.
Ugh, man.
For me, there's a couple of things. I think Gen.G and Clid, BDD, Ruler kind of showing, you know, why they were 3 of the best players in their positions in the LCK for a long while. And like Gen.G is like a sleeper good team. The other thing that just looking at like, you know, the recent weeks and stuff, a team that is slowly making the crawl back from the dead is KT Rolster.
I agree.
Not that I have big expectations for them, but going from 0-5 to 4-5, if anything, it's like this is the worst thing in the world for them to go into like a hiatus for the LCK, because riding a win streak like that is something that we've seen in the LCK could take a team from being last place to first place.
Yeah, that'd be insane. And I'm excited. I want to see them do it. I think they have a lot of time.
Let's go back to Discord. All right. Okay, so what else is the team I would say is surprising me? Yeah, because KT's actually looked low-key pretty good. Ray, I thought, it's been looking pretty good. Kuro is still pretty good. I think their jungler is a bit of an was his name Bono, right? I think he's a kind of but if they can get a more solid jungler, if they have a sub, a Freak of Freaks. I still like their team. I think their team still has a lot that they can actually still prove. I think Afrika could still make Worlds later on during the year if, you know, all this bad stuff gets cured eventually. But in the LEC, I'd say Fnatic versus G2. I just heard a bunch of Fnatic fans saying that G2 got lucky because Yanko stole a Baron. That's the only reason why they won their game. But they didn't hit a Blast Cone and still could have got Baron and won the game. But it's, you know, it's G2's fault that you can't destroy a Blast Cone. I don't know. Fnatic fans are a little fucking delusional. You know what I mean? And then Carlos, yeah. Fnatic fans are pretty delusional. And then on Twitter, Carlos was like, he's talking shit. And then the CEO of Fnatic said, 0-3. I was like, wait a minute. You said G2 went 0-3. Didn't Fnatic get clapped by IG? 0-3? Didn't they lose 0-3 too? And
when I think about the best thing about G2 this split and what they're showing very well, and it's the opposite point I made about the LCS this split, is they're willing to play comps that are gonna they're gonna be nerfed eventually, but they're playing these comps like Janna, Soraka, Sona this season with these top laners and doing these different things that are just OP right now, and they're actually abusing these things and not caring if it's something that will eventually be nerfed out of the game because it's, you know, stupid. They're doing what it takes to win.
Yeah. Also, can we get an F in the chat for Vitality?
Fucking Vitality. I had people have the nerve to fucking tell me that Cloud9 would be 5th place in LEC. Oh my goodness, EU fans, I love you. I love my EU fans, but let's be honest here. Vitality, SK, and what's the other team? Schalke No Trash. They're like the worst West teams I've ever seen. SK literally get on stage, load and lose, and get off. Come on.
Yeah.
They literally suck.
I think Cloud9 would be top. I think Cloud9 would be first.
That's a hot take. That's a hot take right
that's
there.
That's a real hot take.
That's a
I
hot,
think
spicy take.
I think
they'd be in the group with Origin, Fnatic, Rogue.
I think C9 would
basically
be competing with Mad Lions and Rogue.
Also, my reason for that is Niski is playing tremendously better than he did last year. This year, he's got a larger champ pool. Blabber absolutely dumpstered Yankos. Every time they played G2, Blabber completely shit on Yankos in the early game. However, this season, Blabber's kind of pulled back on the inting after 15 minutes thing. And then the bot lane synergy is so much better this year than it was last year. I 100% think they would beat any team in EU.
Yeah, well,
maybe not in a best of 5, in a best of 1. Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, here's the other thing is that Cloud9, you take them from out of North America and put them in. They also just become better because they're practice week in and week out. The scrims become better. They're playing against better.
So it's like a hyperbolic time chamber thing.
Yeah, pretty much. It's
I don't-
right now they're limited by the practice they're getting because NA is just a weaker than any of the other three.
I actually would disagree with that point entirely. I think one of the biggest fallacies people have in esports is the idea that you should be scrimming the best teams. I actually think and this is coming from somebody with a sports background who has some coaching background. The best thing you can do for practice is practice against a somewhat lesser of opponent so you can perfect your own mechanics and motions.
So people are gonna wait. Hold on. So people are gonna ask. People are gonna ask. What was your background in the sportsing? Your profession that you did.
I mean, growing up, always, high school and also a little bit in college, I had football.
Oh shit!
And it's like if playing against, and it's anything you can apply to professional sports all the time. If playing against good opponents for practice was the best strategy, professional teams would be doing this all the time, especially teams that have 2 teams in LA or New York. They would just be scrimming each other nonstop for practice. They don't do that because it's actually bad. The best thing you can do for practicing, and the reason why you see this in sports, is you focus on the individual skills, you focus on yourself doing things right, and implementing that in this such thing. I personally believe that the power of visualizing something and knowing how you're doing it and going in and seeing the plays happen or seeing how it's going to happen is so much more powerful than going up and scrimming against G2 and losing 2-0 in a scrim.
I would hard disagree. I played sports since I was 4, and I will tell you now, you can perfect whatever you want against somebody that's not as good. But the second you go against somebody that's better, that shit's not going to work. Like, I play basketball. I can practice any amount of crossovers I want. And, I might break some dude's ankle that's not as good as me. But the second I play somebody that's better, they're going to lock me up. I'm not scoring.
The moment you play LeBron James.
Also, professional sports teams, they can't just scrim or practice against. You have to fly in from a different city.
No, he was speaking from it like.
No, he's like for LA, Lakers, Clippers.
Yeah, it was like
Lakers, Clippers share the Staples Center, so.
He meant like hypothetically, if you could scrim the best teams, that means
Yeah, they actually would. Actually, baseball kind of does this called spring training, where that's what they do. It's how they get ready for the season.
Then why would people go to boot camp in Korea? Like, Korea is significantly a better region. Their solo queue is easily the best solo queue in the world. Why would people go there to boot camp if playing somebody that's better wasn't beneficial?
How many times have teams gone to boot camp in Korea before tournaments and it actually end up in a very positive manner?
Many. China boot camps in Korea.
Yeah.
And LPL just won 2 years in a row, actually.
You always get better practice, and you learn way more about your flaws against better opponents. If I play against someone who can't expose my weaknesses, how will I?
This is the analogy that I would give, actually, because I've got guys know the channel. I played sports my life too. I played tennis, basketball, things like that. I think that when you look at the better practice, you go to the fact that how about you? Well, you guys have played Smash Brothers, right? Or you know the concept of Smash
Yes.
Brothers, right? Okay, so if I play against someone who is completely garbage at Smash Brothers, I can't get better. But if I play someone better than me and they exploit my weaknesses, now I have something to actually improve on because I've now been exposed to what I didn't know before. Of course, Khan's point works too, where if you could perfect how you play against someone bad, that could also be beneficial too. I mean, it does work both ways though.
I was gonna say, so
Right,
I think the beneficial thing is, of course, you can practice, you can perfect stuff against people that are less, and I think what helps though against people that are better is it forces you to adapt. So
Mm-hmm.
you can perfect everything that you want against people that aren't as good, but once you face somebody better, I think what it's gonna happen is you're gonna be forced to adapt and overcome that situation, or you're just gonna fall off.
I don't know. I've just seen so many times in this league esports where teams get dumpstered by the same team all through like fucking worlds or tournaments, and they go and they play them in a final or they play them in a best of 5 and they lose like 3. And it's like, well, of course we lost the series. They beat us 15-1 in scrims. Because guess what? If you're losing 15-1 in scrims, you're gaining fucking nothing from that.
MSI last year. Not last year. Was it last year? Yeah, no, it was last year. So MSI last year, fucking IG. They went 10-1. I think their only loss was to SKT.
Yeah, somewhere around.
So
there.
that means they dumpstered TL twice, and then TL came out and 3-1'd them. I mean,
true. You could also use the fact that Cloud9, they all stated, this is all out of their own mouths, they were losing the week that they actually got out of the group of death in 2018. They said they were doing fucking horrible. Something clicked in their brains, and they ran through the group. They even said this. Reaper said, we were not good. We probably should not have got out. But we had a good day of scrims, and we switched our playstyle up, and we got out. I mean, it depends. It really does depend on both, because in traditional sports, it's more, the physical thing, and the esport thing is more of the mental thing, but it depends on how you look at it. In traditional sports, it's more beneficial to play against the better teams, and obviously the same thing goes for esports. So would you guys elaborate on that? Anything?
I would 100% say it's always better to play against somebody that's better than you.
Mm-hmm.
So, like for basketball, what I always try to do is guard the best player, if not the second best, whatever it may be. Mainly because it's going to force you to work harder, and it'll force you to actually analyze mistakes that you might not notice if you're playing against somebody weaker. Like in EU and in general, I'm like low diamond 5 pretty much is where I've capped out, and I haven't like really tried to push, but it's where I've it's kind of where I just stop at. I could go into like bronze and absolutely destroy kids, and then get into diamond again or
We'll
plat.
agree to disagree. My big thing is the number one thing I hear people complain about when it comes to teams and their performance, either at Worlds or other places, is that they don't have an identity. They don't go and do this thing. They don't make these plays. And I think part of the reason why is because they spend so much time playing against these teams that are gonna, better than them, and they don't spend enough time practicing against people that they can learn how to make plays and the map movements that need to happen, and how to actually function these core gameplay things. Like if you're spending all your time trying to catch up to somebody, again, we see it in almost every league. We talk about, man, half these teams have no fundamentals. Maybe it's because you're trying to scrim against the toughest team all the time instead of actually taking weeks upon weeks of just playing against the worst opponent and actually learning your fundamentals and running them.
I like your point too.
Well, I mean,
it's like why would you could it's the girl analogy. You could shoot for a girl that's a 10, or you could shoot for a girl that's a 5 and perfect your game. Is that is everyone coming from with that? Did I get it right? No?
I guess. I look at the teams that did well last year at Worlds were obviously the finals, G2 and FPX. They played a style that was both very proactive, and they made decisions quick, and they just made it. One of the big things we've ran into a lot of teams in NA and EU and a lot of other regions that we condemn them is, man, these guys are indecisive in making their plays. One of the benefits of practicing against your academy team, or setting yourself in scenarios and telling yourself, we need, this game, we're just going to work this week on you being fully decisive on these plays, so you can feel and what that feeling of decisiveness is going in. Like in the proactive meta, like we all talk about, I think that's so much more valuable in getting ahead. Because I think most, a lot of teams, especially the best teams, know macro already. I want them to work on their fundamentals and being able to actually commit and make those proactive plays early.
Yeah. All right, yeah, I gotta head out though.
Yeah, I have to go too. But last thing I want to say is, any guys want to have any parting words or anything?
Yeah, we didn't get to talk about it, but 100 Thieves is about to fourth split off the back of Someday. It's gonna happen. Get down.
Someday.
I had
the super carry someday.
Godly, if they didn't have Someday, they would be probably worse as Immortals. Holy crap!
I mean, Immortals and them have the same exact record.
Yeah,
I agree. Good lord, man. 100 Thieves always keep Someday. Pay that guy whatever amount of money he actually asked for. But it was nice having.
As a final thing, I think Ravioli does have a point here. Is 100T has quietly been working their way to a very impressive second half of the split. I want to say they're 5-4 or 5-6 in their last round of games, with their only loss being the TL. They're very quietly working their way up to potentially take the third or second seed if TSM and FlyQuest flip up.
Oh, Shinryu, it was nice having you on. Will we ever see you again? Possibly next week?
Yeah, sure. Just let me know. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. See you guys later. Have a good day. This was episode. I don't know what the fuck episode this actually was, but we had a great time. Everybody got their points out. Anybody? You guys are good? Everything's good?
Yeah.
All right.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Thanks,
See you guys
John.
later. Bye.
Hi there, guys! Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more stuff.
Yeah, thank you.